Welcome to Learning 101 with Sammy,
Faith, Gabby,
The travel ban, also known as Executive Order 13769, was issued by the United States President Donald J. Trump. This order was a ban of travel on 70 majority Muslim countries. The president was denied the opportunity to block travel in February of Muslim countries for 90 days and all refugees for 120 days. Just a few days after being inaugurated, Trump bans people from Iraq, Iran, Syria, Libya, Somalia, Yemen, and Sudan. When Donald Trump decided to enact this, the following day he caused an uproar. People were upset and immediately protesting. Donald Trump decided to defend his choice in this executive order, which led him to fire his Attorney General, Sally Yates. Because of that, Sally Yates was fired because of her choice to not defend the travel ban. Many federal judges across the United States were upset with the actions of the President of the United States and decided not to follow what the President enacted. People reacted so badly with the travel ban that even former President Barack Obama said that he fundamentally disagrees with what Donald Trump decided to do. Executive Order 13769 has caused a debate on whether it is constitutional or not. President Trump has called it a travel ban before and said that his legal team should not water it down for anyone in order to make people happy. He used his presidency to further his agenda that he created during his campaign.
These 7 countries at this moment are having monumental crisis. For example, in Syria, there's a civil war being fought between soldiers who support the president of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, and a group of fighters known as rebels that wishes to overthrow him. This war is the reason why Syrians are seeking refuge in powerful countries like the United States. In Iran's economy has been locked down in a downward spiral from a mix of sanctions and domestic fiscal mismanagement. The national currency, the rial, has plummeted in value to the US dollar. This has driven up inflation, and the unemployment rate is currently at 13%. This horrible economic situation is a major reason why Iranians are seeking refuge in America. Not to mention, their number one ally in the Middle East is Syria.
And in Iraq, we all know the extremist terrorizing group known as ISIS that are currently taking over the country.
Now, what do all these countries have in common?
Islam. While people do not like Donald Trump's immigration policy, in 2014, President Barack Obama announced that he would be protecting half of the 11 million undocumented immigrants from deportation. Obama focused on deporting the criminals that were dangerous in America rather than making families go back. Obama gave this opportunity to about 5 million people who are green card holders or people who would be parents of U.S. citizens. What made Obama's plan so influential was the fact that these undocumented immigrants would be able to start their lives and begin registering with the government. Obama introduced the Deferred Action for Child Arrivals, aka DACA, program, allowing more people to be able to live and create life in America.
There is no denying that Islamophobia runs in the blood of a lot of Americans. I'm not saying that Islamophobia is right, but we have to be partial here. We have to think about things from different perspectives and point of views. History is only told right when you tell it from different point of views.
The Build a Wall campaign slogan was started in the context of the 2016-2017 election of soon-to-be so-called President Donald Trump. This was one of the main components of his campaign for the 2016-2017 election that his voting demographics loved and voted for.
We will build a great wall along the southern border. And Mexico will pay for the wall. Great people and great leaders, but they're going to pay for the wall. On day one, we will begin working on an impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall. We will use the best technology, including above and below ground sensors, that's the tunnels. Remember that, above and below. above and below ground sensors, towers, aerial surveillance, and manpower to supplement the wall, find and dislocate tunnels, and keep out criminal cartels. And Mexico, you know that, will work with us. I really believe it. Mexico will work with us. I absolutely believe it. And especially after meeting with their wonderful, wonderful president today, I really believe they want to solve this problem along with us, and I'm sure they will. Number two, we are going to end catch and release. We catch them? Oh, go ahead. We catch them? Go ahead. Under my administration, anyone who illegally crosses the border will be detained until they are removed out of our country and back to the country from which they came. And they'll be brought great distances. We're not dropping them right across. They learned that. President Eisenhower, they'd drop them across, right across, and they'd come back and across. Then when they flew them to a long distance, all of a sudden that was the end. We will take them great distances, but we will take them to the country where they came from, okay?
Trump's voter bloc was primarily comprised of middle and upper income Americans. An NBC poll of Trump voters from March 2016 showed that only 1/3 of his supporters had incomes lower than $50,000, while the other 2/3 had more than $50,000.
The president's move sent alarm bells ringing in immigrant and activist circles, where questions had continued to swirl about whether Donald Trump would truly implement many of the hardline immigration policies he articulated during his campaign.
Trump confirmed his plans to build the wall with federal funds and then seek reimbursement from Mexico, an idea that Mexico rejected.
Trump stressed that the wall would help Mexico by deterring illegal immigration from countries farther south through Mexico. Surprisingly, Trump commanded the support of 31% of Hispanics from the election, according to Survey USA.
This was a drastic change from Obama's ideas during his presidency. He attempted to appease Islamic resentment from the West by admitting America's faults and sought to absolve Islam itself of any link with terrorism. Obama emphasized America's connection to Islam by almost defending the U.S. as a Muslim nation itself when he said, "Let there be no doubt, Islam is a part of America, and there are nearly 7 million American Muslims in our country today."
What do we have here? Our mystery document! It is titled, "An Act to Limit the Immigration of Aliens into the United States and for All Other Purposes." Wait, we know this! The Immigration Act of 1924, also known as the Johnson-Reed Act. Yeah. This can be connected to the Build a Wall campaign, wanting to create a bigger divide between Mexico and U.S. and the Muslim ban, because of all of these policies are meant to drastically limit the influx of a certain group of people from entering the U.S., whether legally or illegally.
Okay, bye.